everyone. You
I like that.
you
It
feel
really is a
pure
brain
love.
on.
You
Okay.
feel like you're in you feel like you're in the arms of like a mother, like that pure bond of love and trust. It's so pure. It's so beautiful. And then when later in the trip, I started getting really scared because I'd come out of the trip and these are so fucking extreme, so vivid, so fucking extreme. You can't imagine. I could never imagine it before I had the experience. And it's just so powerful and so overwhelming. But I forgot what point.
I've never seen like things get like abstract and melt together.
Well, we were talking about right before then. We were talking about how he was
you and
saying
your friend
that
were arguing about we never explained on AIM about we never ended up finishing.
Oh, but yeah, it was really powerful. So when I came out, it was like, holy shit, I'm tripping so fucking hard. This is so crazy, so mind blowing, so eye opening. It's so much information at once. I can't even grasp it. Like, oh my, it's like, give me a second to breathe here. What the fuck?
And it all hits you at once.
It
scares
you.
It's not like you're thinking about it the whole entire time.
Yeah.
It's just like,
it
boom!
scares you.
It's really like
scared
an alien.
me. It was
it's
so
really like
overwhelming.
Call or whatever that movie is with the alien.
no.
The new one? Oh, that was funny. I was watching.
It's like that. Like when he just touches you, and he's just that religious ass girl that's in it. She's just like, boom. Wow, I can't believe I believe that shit. Like all this shit, you know what I mean? It's really like that. Like it punches you with 1 second of a billion years of information or some shit. It's like
it's so beautiful.
Obviously that's
so
no exaggerated, but it's crazy how much
I was gonna say
you just
that clearly is the
you question like
somewhere.
40 things in half a second. And you just start thinking about it. And it feels like you're just living that moment. You know what I mean? And I don't know, it's the same. And that wasn't even with tripping.
I was gonna say
I didn't like bug out. I feel like I was in the world. I just knew I was bugging.
What Thorne said about adrenaline and like what you said with other like psychedelics, how you think it might
have a
I
slow
think
down
psychedelics
effect.
definitely have some kind of an effect on no.
Why?
Oh,
Where did you get that from?
Amazing thought, man.
Oh yeah. I forgot about it. Never been to one in my life. The first thing I go watch.
But I think the connection between that and like time perception, I honestly think I've always thought about adrenaline as like it actually enhances you to move. Like I think adrenaline is like some kind of chemical that could possibly like enhance your body to
superhuman levels.
Not even like to that, but like I think it might enhance your body to a level that like almost in the sense like this dimension, like you know, there's the laws of physics and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it like allows you to bend those laws. I've always thought of it that way. Like you can run faster, you can like lift weight.
Dudes lift up like crazy amounts of weight to like get babies out of under cars.
They say that the laws of physics have evolved to the universe too, and for the one thing.
Yeah. You know what?
Talking about the universe and like what its shape is inside, that was so interesting too. That shows the shape.
You know what's crazy? There was a woman whose son got trapped underneath her car. At one point, it happened years ago.
I could have swore I seen this.
It was
the lady lifted it, right?
The woman lifted the car off her son because of the adrenaline rush to save him. And then there was another one where
wasn't he a child too?
And there was like another one where there was this little kid, who was riding his bike around a gas station. He was like 14, and there was a mechanic underneath the car, and it fell on him, and like waist down, and like crushed his body. But the kid went, and he lifted the car up enough off the ground so the guy could get out. I mean, I told you guys about the one where there's this guy who was hiking. He liked to go up and take pictures and hike and stuff. And I'm pretty sure I told you. Where he went up and a big rock, like a boulder, like a 2-ton rock.
Did he cut his hand off?
No.
Oh.
No, it fell on him. Fell on him.
Fucking bench pressed it. It was like, how much was it?
Like 2 tons.
It wasn't that much.
It was a lot of weight.
It was a crazy amount.
It was at least like 1,000.
Clearly, just by you saying that, it was a fucking heavy rock.
Yeah.
Regardless, it was a boulder. And he like bench pressed off. But the problem with that is, even though the adrenaline,
all his muscles.
All his muscles tore. Yeah, they all tore from the bone marrow that like connects the sinews of your muscle to the bone. So after that, you legitimately can't move. He said the pain was so overwhelming he lay there for hours, and before he could like call for help.
Oh god.
Because he couldn't. You can imagine trying to move, but the muscle that you're trying to use to
Honestly,
move.
I don't think
that's
your brain,
God.
I don't think your body would let
Do
you
you know
move
how
just because of all
sore that?
that
Oh
pain.
my god, the soreness.
Like
Oh my
your
God.
body would be, your body itself would
Oh.
numb itself so much it wouldn't even
Yeah.
let you move.
He said
Oh, until
eventually.
the adrenaline wears out.
Yeah, and then you're just in so much pain you can't move.
Plus, I mean, to picture
So,
this,
That you just want to die.
his waist
Yeah,
down.
I just want to sit there and waste
The-
away. If I'm gonna waste away, I'm gonna waste away.
Yeah. So from waist down, the bones in his body were crushed to
He
nothing,
was just
and then his
fucked up.
entire upper body, all the muscles were torn off the bone. Imagine that.
Oh my god.
He can't even like use his
Fucked
leg,
up,
and
bro.
his entire body's just destroyed.
This part's just flat toothpaste style and
No, it wasn't flat. It wasn't that.
I know.
It was crushed.
Toothpaste style.
Yeah.
You know it.
I think adrenaline, though, I
Oh,
think even because it raises you to a superhuman level, I think honestly it could raise your body to the point where you could like bend the laws of physics, bend the laws of
Maybe
science.
Anderson Silva has heavy like adrenal glands.
I really feel like some people
Real.
can secrete it more than others.
Like how you said that 1/10 of a second
Octoplasm
caused our
style.
time perception to change. Maybe
And it's
adrenaline,
normal.
maybe
Yeah.
adrenaline causes your time perception. Not maybe for you.
Isn't that what toxoplasm essentially is?
No.
Doesn't it make us more aggressive?
Yes.
Isn't that like?
What does that have to do with time perception?
I'm talking about adrenaline.
Oh.
Oh, well, like you know how
I'm
adrenaline.
I don't think that would-
Have you ever had an adrenaline rush, like a really big adrenaline
Oh, yeah,
rush,
Sure.
and everything seems to go by so quick, like it happens
Yeah,
so
when I
fast?
got jumped.
I think your time perception probably increases like a lot, and I think it allows you to like when you like run faster. I think it honestly allows you to bend the law of time. Like, you know what I mean?
You ever ran from the cops? Like your adrenaline fucking pumps.
Oh,
bro.
yeah, once.
Yo, I've legitimately I've like raced people like and they've shitted on me and I was getting chased by cops and I absolutely shitted on him. Yo, it's
Hey,
because that's
before-
true. You're
before I-
really ridiculous.
Before I had
like
a
that.
knee injury back in 6th, 7th grade, I played basketball, ran track, cross country, football, baseball, everything. I was in like awesome shape for running. I was at the Titleist company before it closed in Acushnet, and we were hanging out in the parking lot, and these cops came, and they were literally going to chase us, like, take our stuff, and like, we were going to get in trouble. And everyone was like, run! I outran the kids on their bikes. I ran so fucking fast. I ran down, like, you know the street, Tom Street.
Yeah.
I ran from
Adrenaline running
Titleist.
down the street. You
I-
could go fucking
I
crazy
legit
fast.
ran
What the fuck?
uphill. I ran from
Well,
Titleist
we feel
parking
like you're not
lot
running fast
to-
enough, right?
almost to Tom's house in probably less than 30 seconds, if that. I ran so fast. Like, I ran so fast, and I went to go cut through this kid Jeff Charbonneau's yard to jump his fence, and when I turned to look, they were like halfway up the street. I ran so
Yo,
fast.
legitimately, when I got chased
The
by the
biggest
cops,
adrenaline rush ever.
like this all happened in like 3 seconds, but I could say it like it was a fucking story. I was walking down the street. I got away from the cops. That fucking one comes down the street, and my adrenaline's still pumping. So me being stupid, not sitting there and just continue walking normally, I decide to run. So he gets out of his car, fucking chases me. I'm literally in like 2 houses in front of the house that I eventually ended up running to, cutting into the yard. So I cut into the yard. About to jump the fence. I literally grab it like this because I jump really high. I go like this. First off, the first thing I realize is I'm jumping a fence onto like over a ledge, so it's way higher than I thought it was.
That sucks.
And this guy grabs my leg while I'm doing it, and I kicked him in his, like, not booted him in his face, but like I gave him a little tap to his face, so he stopped, and I fucking just belly flopped to the floor and just kept running. Straight belly flop, like, boom, could not breathe, but I was going. I swear to God, I couldn't breathe for straight 30 seconds. Like, I couldn't feel anything in my body. I was just going.
God.
I started.
I would have died, honestly.
It was
so much weight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yo, it was crazy.
I always
man.
compared,
My
like,
heart was pumping.
like, even when I tried, like, I ran my fastest, the fastest I ever ran the 100 meter and on a track was 11 seconds flat. I think if I wanted to be realistic, I probably hit like 9 seconds when I had adrenaline, which is significantly faster. That's like Olympic
Yeah,
running. That's like Olympic running speed.
That's why I think pro athletes know how to tap into it.
To a
Because
degree, right? Yeah.
they turn clutch, which is turning on their skill when you need it.
Yeah.
And people can run 9.4 miles per. 9.4.
Well, it really
seconds
all
per
comes down to muscle memory too, honestly.
Mhm.
Practice really does make perfect.
Mhm.
I mean,
That's why when Kobe misses, it's because Kobe missed, not because you made him miss. Any good basketball player, because he missed, not because you made him miss. Unless you blocked him, you did not make him miss it.
Yeah, because they practice with dudes in their face and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it was him.
Wait,
it was him
yeah,
kicking.
like you can block their face and you'll still make the shot like this. That's
Kobe
how a
does
lot
that all
of the
the
good
time.
defenders defend people. They don't even try. They don't even go for the ball. Boop, right in your face. You know what I mean? And they'll still make those right in your face. It all comes down to muscle memory. But you're right. They have
Then
to
you
be able
get
to.
tired over a certain amount of
You
time.
have to be able to lock into it to some
I-
degree, though.
everything's biology, dude. Like when
The
there's
human
the
body's
runners,
so much more intense than the fucking
Wait,
everybody's body.
there's so many ways to manipulate your anatomy to make yourself a better athlete. When people try to go for triathlons, decathlons, when they're going to be running marathons, stuff like that, one of the things is, and it became just as illegal as steroids. You guys know what blood doping is?
I
what-
heard of that. What is it?
Blood doping is
I saw that
the
on ESPN,
artificial
as a matter of fact.
injection of red blood cells into your body.
So your blood pumps faster, right?
Well,
No,
your-
so you have more oxygen
Yeah.
flowing to your muscles.
your red blood cells carry oxygen, so the more red blood cells you have, the more oxygen gets pumped through your heart,
Mhm.
and it allows you to have more oxygen to your muscles. You don't,
So you get less
you don't-
tired, pretty much.
yeah, like you
Yeah, you have better
You have-
stamina.
you don't
Yeah.
get the lactic acid as fast.
You have to
Like your
see that
muscles
dude
don't
in
burn.
Stan Lee's
Yeah.
superheroes.
So
He can run for like straight 15 miles at like literally 11 miles per hour. Like, you know what I mean? Literally like really running, like not
Yeah.
sprinting, but running, you know what I mean? For like 11 miles and not be tired at all.
yeah,
That's nuts.
Like straight at all. Like, this guy was jogging when he jogged 4 miles. He was like, all right, I'm done. You know what I mean? Just an average dude, average Joe. It's actually the most flexible man in the world. He can fit in a fucking box like this big.
Yeah.
But anyways, he's just jogging down the street and he runs, you know, like the back roads of California, how they're mad long, and usually you see like all the rich, expensive cars on it and shit.
yeah.
This guy runs it from morning to night, and then just goes home at the end of the
There's a
night.
guy who
Lives
has.
by himself, I guess.
There was a
Yeah.
guy I read about him.
Turns out.
He had 3% body fat. He ran 500 miles straight in the Nevada desert.
That sounds stupid.
You know that bald cop at our school?
Yeah.
He ran something for like. He ran something stupid for cancer. He ran like 500,000 miles.
What the
No, 5,000 miles.
Yeah, fucking
He
Straight?
said he took him 2 days.
5,000 miles in 2 days.
He
So
probably walked a
many-
lot of it.
That's,
No.
no, 5,000 miles is so much. Do you understand
Where did
how
he go
much
to?
that is?
That's significantly far.
Do you know-
No,
Right
that's,
around-
that's more than a 2-day travel by car.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe it was
yeah.
500 miles.
It's 3,000
Definitely.
miles to
It must have been
California.
500. Because from here to Virginia is
So,
500
shut-
He
miles.
ran to California and back in
But
2
even
days.
still,
Oh,
even still,
crazy monster.
Doing
He, you know what he ran with EpiPens the whole way, injected adrenaline.
That's good.
He did. It was 500.
He probably killed himself.
Yeah, it had to.
But he said,
Yeah.
no
From
feeling
here
in
to
his
Virginia
feet
is
afterwards.
500.
Yeah, that's so bad for you if you're not. The guy actually he did a world record thing where he said he ran 50 marathons in 50 days in 50 states.
I've seen that.
Same guy though. What he did was he'd run a marathon, like a 25-mile marathon, and then he'd go in his like camper trailer and he would rest, and they would drive him to the next state. And then he'd get out of his trailer, run the next marathon. Yeah.
How good of a shape he must have been at the end of that 50 days.
Imagine how much he must have been like dead.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine
If he
how much
rested for 2
fucking
days,
he would
he'd
have
be in
sweated.
50s.
Imagine that.
No, I've always
I
thought
remember at one point Shaq was like
Taking an
8% body
EpiPen.
fat. That's fucking
Mhm.
retarded for 350
I
you
would
have?
too, but
Like he had like 8% body
Yeah,
fat
Shaq.
when he was like mad young.
I'd
Like
like to
Shaq
do
ain't fat as fuck
Orlando.
now, but yeah. But he was
He's
a
still
beast.
only 12.
Think about it.
I'd
He
love
really
to
used to
someone
break
else.
metal rims and shit. Shaq, like that's crazy to think. They
He
tried
pulled
making a
down the
rule.
air pumps in the
Yeah,
hoops.
they tried making a rule against him when he was in college because they thought he was bending the rims on purpose. I did a project on him. Okay. Yeah, that's crazy. Like they tried making a rule against one player.
Oh, I gotta finish what blood doping is. So, what blood doping was people were artificially injecting it, but now what the people will do
It was
is,
runners, right? I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure I
runners-
saw it on.
runners do
was
it a
in the
lot.
Olympics.
so now
Something like
they
that.
do it in a non-illegal way. What they'll do is, you know how they say when people will train at high altitudes,
Mhm.
and then they'll go like do their sport at low altitude. It's the same thing because what happens
Yeah, it
is
really
it's
is,
the
yeah.
science behind anatomy, and what they'll
you
also
create
do,
more red
they'll-
blood cells
it's
at
just
higher
doing
altitude.
that without-
you'll
Because
also
there's less oxygen, so
Yeah.
you need more
Yeah.
to deliver.
yeah, and then your body will naturally create more red blood cells. Then when you go down to ground level, sea level, So what the main thing is, there's also the decompression.
So why would
tents
that be
they
illegal
sleep
though?
in.
I don't really get that.
Well, when
If
you
they do it-
artificially inject it, it's like
Oh, just because it's
it's just like
artificially
that.
injecting it.
Yeah, but if you do it naturally, like another thing they'll do is when they sleep every night, they go in decompression tents where they only have like 70% or like 50% normal of oxygen. So then that way their body is just like all night like needing oxygen, and it'll
That's
produce
why
red
I
blood
think
cells.
that it's more of a moral issue than like a
Yeah.
technical.
Yeah,
It's
just
more
because
like-
or any enhancing thing like
I
that.
think any form of
It's all
enhancement,
opinion-based.
any form of
It's a
anatomy
moral
enhancement,
issue. It's a moral issue.
people I think just get offended. They're like, oh, well,
Hell
this
yeah.
guy did that, so why? That's
Even
why
when it
he
comes to
won.
sports,
It's
so
a
what?
moral
Like, it's
issue.
all these guys did steroids. So what? You can do them too.
Yeah, but it's dangerous. I don't believe in steroids at all.
I'm not saying that's good, but why are you gonna take these guys out of the Hall of Fame for doing
But
steroids?
that's why I was like
And,
good with like the whole not blood doping with the illegal way, but like
Yeah.
raising your red blood cell count like
that's
naturally
smart.
is awesome.
That's just smart.
That's what Vanderlei
strategic
Silva
money.
does. He puts a scuba diving mask on
Yep.
and he runs up flights of stairs all day, and he gets like how much oxygen. They keep a heart monitor on him
So
to
we
make
can
sure he
only
doesn't
breathe out of
die.
his mouth. What? So we can only breathe
So
out
he
of
can
his
only breathe like out of a little tube
mouth?
comparative
Oh,
to going
like with that.
yeah,
too
scuba
and everything?
mask. Yeah,
Holy
an
shit.
actual
He's
scuba
crazy.
mask. Yeah, and he'll run upstairs
I
with
don't
like
even
weight
know how to
vests like
breathe in
that.
those things, honestly.
He'll
I feel
run-
like I'm choking every time.
He'll
I
run
breathe.
up and down stairs for like a couple hours with like weight vests and scuba dive, and then right when he's done, he jumps in the ice tank. And what that does is it makes his body need oxygen more, so that way he takes off, goes in a ring, it's like, whoo, like you don't even need to breathe heavy. I need to do that. I have
No, that's
horrible
smart.
lung. I have horrible lung capacity.
No, I think I have very good. I used to be able to hold my
Honestly,
breath for almost 2
when I
minutes,
go to the
and
gym
that's when
and I
was
do
younger. I can do a minute
yeah.
now off nothing.
when I
Just do it.
went to the gym the other day, I was doing light weight workouts, lots of reps. I was just doing it, trying to muscle stamina, and my lungs started to hurt, and then I got nauseous before my muscles even got tired. I had to leave. That's when I saw you.
Damn.
I had
Yeah,
to leave.
that's not
I started
good.
getting sick because my muscles weren't getting tired, but my stomach like couldn't handle it. I started tasting the Subway I had. I was like, oh, yeah, it blew.
MSG. Feeling me. Yo,
What?
listen.
I'm trying to force it on.
I'm not. This is the first time I've even came on it. Apparently you.
That's true. That's true.
Apparently you
Yeah,
were
that's
thinking
true.
about it, huh?
That's
You
true.
must have been thinking about it too.
I did for a split second when I first came here. It's like, nah, but I won't do it.
Oh, by the way, you know the quantitative comparison thing I was talking about before?
Yeah.
We keep like we cut from like subject to subject so fast.
Yeah, we do.
The quantitative comparison though, that
On
was
to the next
of a rational voter, yeah. The thing that I was talking about was really cool is when the 45 split, like statistically it would, in like how a democracy works. The well-informed though, they say controls, because
Wow,
the
it was like an
uninformed,
hour ago when we were talking
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
yeah, they say the uninformed always split. The uninformed actually, even though if they are ignorant of the topic, they say balance each other out. And the informed, like the well-informed, the intelligent, they say
Top it all
control
up.
the country. Because the 10% are well-informed, they know Hitler's a retard,
Mhm.
and he's going to kill people, and then they know the other guy's a good guy. So what will happen is they'll go to him, and democracy just always works out that way. But that's in a perfect way. So then what?
Don't worry, man.
Anyway, but
I tried to
then
pick up this hole. Like that was my friend. It's like, someone saw me. I'm like, oh fuck. Right, but anyways, go ahead, continue.
but yeah, in a perfect society, that's how it works. But they say like they can always turn out wrong. That's why democracy is good, in a sense. I can't wait. If I
I think that whole the whole point that 10% of the 1% of the million like richest people in the world, 70% of that 1% is Jewish. That's
Really?
crazy. Yeah, 70% of the 1%
In
of
America,
the richest
I'm pretty
people.
sure.
Oh, I thought it was.
I'm not sure it's the world or America.
well, you know something, like I don't even
That's
blame them.
retarded.
I don't even blame them, because you know something, maybe they come from a culture, they come from a background with a
Think about it. They
family
were
values.
enslaved twice.
They come with good work ethic.
They were enslaved twice.
And they know how to work in business.
The one thing that I gotta make the point of is that Israel's corrupt as fuck.
Oh yeah.
Fuck. And everyone's on their dick, so they're clearly running shit. Cause they
Yeah.
got brawn, but they're a little fucking country. Let's be serious. We could fucking
Yeah.
destroy them.
Mm-hmm.
So they got power in other
don't
ways
even know
through
how
money
much
and
that gets
shit.
me
Because
mad.
money wins the world. So that's how they got their power.
Mm-hmm.
You know what?
That makes sense to
Saudi
me,
Arabia
but-
in like 10 years had the most craziest like advancements in like 40 years or some shit like that. I was reading that on something about Du Bois, as a matter of fact.
All right, I got a couple things to say. One, imagine if the Illuminati was centering out of Israel. Just think about that.
Mhm.
Second,
And we just think it's an American.
in one of the debates with Ron Paul, I was dying because
It'd be dangerous.
they were trying to question him, and they're trying to make him sound dumb about his policy of Iran. And they're saying, they kept asking him, well, you know, if Iran, say if you were in charge, you pulled troops out, you stopped interfering, what if Iran, and he said, they were like, what if Iran within the next 10 years got a nuke? He's like, how about this? What if Iran got a nuke next year? And they're like, well, what would you do? He's like,
we have a nuke too.
he's like, nothing.
That's what I'd say.
He's like, nothing. He's like, nothing. Why would I? And they're like, would you help defend Israel if they were going to attack Israel? He's like,
No.
why would I? He's like, why would I defend Israel? He's like, you know, they're their own country. They can take care of themselves. He's like, so what if Iran has one nuke? They're surrounded by China, Iraq, Israel, Pakistan.
Yeah,
he's like,
if
all those
one nuke,
countries
yeah.
have nukes.
Fuck that.
He's like, he says, you know, Iran may
We're
be.
just trying to keep it.
We're the
quick,
last
quick,
person
Yeah.
I gotta worry about
He
that.
said-
There's a bunch
he's
of
People
people
are so
over there.
dumb. That's why people don't think for themselves. They just eat everything that
You know what he said?
they absorb
Yeah.
everything. You don't even.
I don't even know how
think.
people would
I don't
think
even.
that. They
like,
did fuck-
I remember
nukes
what
over
it
there.
was like to be like that a while ago, but I'm thinking, how fucking like.
Dumb.
That's because it's so easy to fall into it.
To
too.
just
It's
just
so
go
easy,
along with it.
exactly, because no one wants to think about
Mhm.
it. Like Joe says, no one wants to think about that. It's too scary. It's too big. It's too daunting. You can't understand
you know
it, so
you
you
can't-
get frustrated.
It's nobody wants to face a task they can't tackle. Simple as that. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Plus,
That's what it is.
But the thing he was saying though is he's like, you know, even Islamic extremists. He says he's like they may be extreme. He's like, but they're not suicidal really. He's like, what are they gonna do? He's like, Israel has 300 nukes. What would Iran do? They'd be
I know.
gone.
I know.
They'd be gone.
Yeah.
And if anybody was to be like appointed by,
If anyone was that ignorant to ever fire off a nuke and cause a nuclear war, I don't even care. They're
Straight up, the Earth would
God.
literally be destroyed.
you know who
not
would?
only one would
you
go
know
down.
who would?
Simple
No.
as that.
You know who would be the ones that would launch a nuke? There was this. I gotta find it. I gotta find the document for you guys. It was this pet. And it was brought forth in the UN. And in the UN, there was
I don't like those motherfuckers.
there was a document brought in the UN. 75% of their funding was from us. First of all, I want to point that out.
I don't like them. 'cause they're
Yeah,
not
we
fucking
con
country.
UN so much. We give
Yeah.
them most of our troops, obviously. We're one of the top 5 countries that are always involved in the voting. But the thing with the UN, though, they brought up a document, like a pact, of all the countries in the UN that said, sign this, and what you're signing is saying, I will agree to not fire a nuclear weapon first. Russia signed it, China signed it, Britain signed it,
US
France
didn't
signed
sign
it,
it.
US didn't sign it.
US
We
didn't
did not sign it.
that.
But we actually did sign a document saying we wouldn't fire off the bomb, and I can't remember the name of it, but it's a bomb where it completely incinerates all sentient life. You know that one? If they launch it off in a city, the city stays completely there, but all
It just-
living organic life completely dies and incinerates itself and
Yeah.
fucking blows
Which
up.
it would.
It,
I can't
of
even
all
imagine
everything,
that.
like if they set one off, this whole house would be like clean, but there'd be some ashes on the floor because we would
That's what
literally
I'm saying.
randomly
Like, it would
combust.
just melt from the inside.
Crazy
That's fucking
stuff.
That
retarded.
doesn't even make sense. Like,
It's a crazy. It targets organic life.
too
Like,
much.
yeah. Imagine that. You go into a
Honestly,
that'd
wanna
be
see
a
the
dead
document for
city.
that.
That'd
I
be a
do.
dead city.
I think
Walking
to
into
a
that
degree,
city after it goes off, there'd be ashes, just ashes. Everything would still be there. There'd probably be like,
it might be cloudy from the ashes. Yeah,
You know-
straight foggy.
you know what I could picture? Like a pole with a leash, like for a dog, and the leash just is just in a pile of ashes. Like that'd be the craziest thing to ever witness. Because we actually signed not to use that first, but I guarantee we break that.
Oh yeah.
I guarantee.
Fuck, dude. People
because
in power,
we're not
this
gonna
is
let
why-
somebody bomb us.
This is why
That's
I don't
why.
think we can win, because one way or another, they have the code. They have the button to end it.
hmm
This is why I think that they've already got the power they need.
Yeah, they can't
We can't
because
do
they already
anything.
can. We can't do shit about that.
We
button.
Well,
really can't.
we
How
don't-
are we going to take it from them?
We could
They'll
never
fire it.
ever
They'll
get
just
to that.
fire it.
Yeah, we could never ever get to that.
And if we
if
ever
wanted
did
to,
capture
ever.
the government back, they would fuck it. If we tried to, if we tried to make our own society
All
or
right,
something,
I just
they would plague
wouldn't
us
happen.
with disease. That's
Straight
why
up
they still
wouldn't
have
happen.
those
Yep.
labs.
That's what I was gonna say. It
Yeah.
straight up wouldn't
They
happen.
would just disease us
Yeah.
and kill us.
Yep.
Well, think about this. I want to give this a good comparison.
We're
When
so
Germany,
Everybody would have super
I feel
gonorrhea.
so mad that people can be so ignorant.
when Germany fell in World War One, there was the Weimar Republic. Like it was some
Fucking whole-
organization.
Tim, can
Like what? I have Christmas tree.
I'll do
All right.
it.
I just want to say this first. It was called the Weimar Republic. Was put in charge into Germany after World War One, and you know they were given the demands on the Treaty of Versailles. And they were like, "All right, you run the government." And even though they were put in charge, there was still the activist group that lost power. All the generals that were like making money off the war. Sounds like something like the United States, maybe military-industrial complex.
Yep.
We need to start being active on this shit. We talk about too much stuff
Yeah.
with that and don't be
Yeah.
activate.
Well,
Make
that's
a
why.
YouTube channel.
That's why I want to
Post
put on
about
YouTube, put on
it.
Facebook, just
For
inform
real.
people. That'd be cool. But Corey has a nice
We would have to
$50
record
mic.
it and then cut it up and make a good video. Like cut off
Yeah,
the people
yeah,
who
yeah.
are acting retarded or some shit, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Are we not talking really about anything?
Well, even still, this is just us being us. This is the beginning of the series.
Yeah.
This is how it starts. You know?
Yeah.
It is.
But the
So
crazy
you
thing
gotta
about the
have
Weimar
that.
Republic is, even when they gain control like that, the people that had power are constantly trying to get back. And I feel like that's what happened. And what leading up to the 21st century is, right? What's the nukes, right? Leading up to this point in time, there was always the thing where countries could conquer other countries, you know? Now at this point in time, it's so
not
much
like
different.
You can't do that.
We're now, there's a European Union, there's a move for a North American.
We've been trying to do that for a
are
month.
now.
Yeah.
We're it.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I had
North
heard
American
something about
Union.
that on
Yeah.
news, but I didn't really want to believe it
What
because it
the
was on
fuck
the
are you
news.
It's-
Mexico, America, and Canada is known as the North American Union.
I had heard it was
I think
supposed to
according
happen,
to
and I
UN,
saw
right?
something about it on the news, but I
According
didn't
to the
I
see
would
it.
have heard of this.
According to the UN, but we're not like
I saw something
officially
about it on the
North
news
American
too, though. I didn't like watch it.
Yeah.
It
because
probably
it was on
will
the
be.
news, but I saw
There's
something
going
about
to
it.
be a greater economic collapse.
We
At that
need it,
point, they're gonna
honestly.
say,
Realistically,
okay,
we need
let's
it.
get the North American Union.
You know what's gonna happen?
Well, that's
Canada's not
Things-
doing that bad.
I gotta say this.
I know they're actually not.
Their
They said
their
they were pretty
their
much
dollar is
thriving.
worth more than ours now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're not.
So-
and
A few years ago they were talking about like Portugal and Greece, how they had the economic collapse where they have to let go of the euro. Now they're
Portugal's
actually
not doing bad
discussing.
anymore.
Now they're discussing they might have to let go of the euro because their dollar like it's worth so little now. But
What, the euro?
yeah, in Portugal and Greece, because
Oh.
have you seen the riots in Greece? I've watched videos where
Yeah,
like they're just
yeah,
killing cops.
I have. Hell yeah.
Like civilians are taking Molotovs and just burning cops alive, killing them.
Holy
All right, I
shit!
didn't
Yeah,
see that.
I can show you.
Yeah, you need to
Holy
show me that. I
shit.
love that gruesome shit.
Yeah, crazy.
that's fucking
100,000 in Athens rioting. The cops couldn't do shit.
Oh my
They were getting
God.
Molotovs thrown on them. Like I saw a video with this guy on fire, like running down the street. Crazy.
Oh my
And
God.
you know what the cops are
You
doing?
know,
They
I
all
think they're
walk
all
up, right?
full.
So
I
mad
bet
and
they're all
furious and on
informed.
fire and
I
Yeah.
bet you. That's why I want to
Well,
know.
you know what
they say.
happened?
Where's the interviews of them? Where's
You
the
know what-
actual interviews?
you wanna
of
know
them,
what-
not their little actors or
Yeah.
whatever.
You know, I know a big reason why they went on riot was because Greece, like the government, when they had an economic collapse, really similar to ours, and the Greece
that's
government
why
was
we're
discussing.
stupid. We
the
can
Greece,
fucking riot
yeah, the
about
Greece
shit.
government was discussing one of the
no one
things.
wants to be the one to do it.
One big thing was they were
No,
possibly
right.
discussing bailing out the companies, and the people were like, "Oh no, you saw what happened in America. You're not bailing out the companies." They did it without the people's consent. They went on
Oh.
riot. I saw there was a video where there's a big wall of
Good
police.
for them.
They had a big wall of police, right? And they had tear gas. I think this is the coolest thing I saw, actually. They were launching tear gas into the crowd, and all of a sudden you just see guys walking through the crowd with gas masks, kicking the tear gas back at them,
Oh.
and running up with Molotovs and axes and, like,
Oh my God.
crazy.
Dude.
Yeah, they're, like, killing them down in Greece. Greece is pretty nuts. Like, people aren't watching Greece. Syria.
I had heard
Yeah,
about
what's
that.
up
I
with
never
Syria?
really
What's up with
saw
Syria?
this shit. What the
Because
fuck?
Travis's dad is part of a secret organization that lets news out about Syria. Because, like, if in Syria, the government's so crazy. Like, if you go, like, on a riot
Isn't
and
he,
you don't
like,
cover your
living over
face,
there somewhere or something
they'll
like that?
see you, they'll find out who your family is, and they'll, like, murder you.
In
I seen
Syria?
I found videos where they took some kid that was, like,
It's been
went out
really
on
bad over
protest.
there for a while.
Because one kid, what happened was there were people on protest, and I think it was like some guy like was dying, and some little kid like helped him, and soldiers took him captive and like tortured him. They like raped him with
Syrian?
objects. They dismembered him. They burned him with cigarettes
This
and
child?
shit. They dismembered him on video, and they released it to the public. So like a few hundred, like a couple tens of thousands of kids went out on riot, and they made a statement because none of them covered their faces. And one of the main
Oh,
kids,
yeah, I
there's a
specifically remember
There's a
seeing that.
Wikipedia page on this kid now.
Did you do
They
this on
took
your
him?
Facebook?
You know what they did to him?
Kid the G.
You know what they did to this kid? They captured this kid. He was missing for a few weeks. The family got his body back in the mail, and they cut off his genitals, and they burned him with cigarettes, and they beat him to death and shit, like crazy. In Syria, in Damascus,
Oh my
Damascus is on military
God.
lockdown. It's completely quarantined now by the military. They
I'd
have
be
tanks.
rebelling like
They have
crazy,
tanks
too.
and artillery surrounding the city. They're mortaring the city, and they cut off all food and water because the entire city is on riot. and we're not.
Oh,
What are we
they're
doing?
less than that.
What are we doing? They're like, oh, Iran might build a nuke within 10 years. Did you know that, for another
has
example
the
is
nuke already?
the Republic of the Congo down there where Rwanda used to
That
be.
shit's fucked
That's
up,
known
too.
as the Third World War. Like 11 million people have died in the past, 5 years. What are you doing?
In the Congo alone?
Yes, in Central Africa, at
Just
least,
that country, like Civil War.
now it's a new country, but it used to be made up like Rwanda.
It's
and
bigger
something
now.
else. Yeah, now they combine, they changed
Yeah.
because Rwanda was so crazy. Now part of where there was like a rebellious group over there in Rwanda, and now they're in the eastern part of the Congo, and there's constant warfare. They're constantly trying to move west, and the government's trying to hold them back. Watch Hotel Rwanda. It's a crazy ass movie. You seen that? That's the country. That's where that shit's going down.
What's
it's still
that
going
on?
on.
Does that come on TV?
I don't think so.
I've heard of that before.
Just look it up. Dude. It's pretty old. Hotel Rwanda,
It's a
and
mad good movie.
yeah,
I've
people
heard
just
of
get
it.
massacred there, dude. There was a
That's
woman.
so nuts.
There was
That's
a
what
woman.
I'm saying. People are so capable
Yeah.
of so much,
There was
ugly,
yeah.
unbelievable things, and then they're capable of such beautiful things.
There's
We're so
Bacteria.
vast and different, dude.
Bacteria.
think about this. When you said
can I
gruesome
have a
shit.
Christmas tree?
Sure, if you want.
Yeah, let's do it.
If you want to go, it's just right up in the pantry. It's right
In
in the
the,
Yep. Just open it. It's right there.
alright.
Well, for me, it's there. For you, it's the. But and there was a woman who illegally transported herself into the United States because she had to get out of there. Because what happened? She was captured by
In Rwanda.
yeah, it was like the Congo because it was after the
After
country
that.
merged. The countries merged, and she was there. She got captured by a group of guys. And down there, these guys will contract AIDS, and they'll use it as a weapon
Yeah.
of warfare. They'll go into those
I
rape
saw
communities and shit.
How do I know so much of this shit and I've never seen any of this?
Yeah.
on this?
Well, because it's not covered. It's not released here because they don't want it to be important.
Well,
you know
why do
what I
I
mean?
hear this? All
They
the time?
they want to feed us
I've
news.
heard of this before.
They want to feed us news that they want us
AIDS
to know.
warfare. I've heard
Yeah.
specifically.
This
that was
woman,
the fucking.
this woman got raped by these guys, right? She escaped, made it to a refugee camp, and then a few weeks later, the refugee camp
I
got
think you might have
raided.
told me this before.
Yeah, got raided.
That might
They
be
captured her again, and then they raped her, but with their AKs, and when they put it inside of her, they shot. Yeah. And she was in the hospital for a year. Crazy. And then when she got here, she witnessed a rape, helped a woman, right? She helped the woman out because she attacked the rapist and allowed the woman to get away, but then the woman ended up dying from the injuries from the rape, and then they asked her to go on the stand to testify, and she was like, "Oh, I don't want to be found. They're going to deport me," and they're like, "We'll protect you." And the federal government came in when she went to testify, and they deported her back to the Congo. I was like, that's so fucked up. How can you do that? How can you deport somebody back like that?
the reason why she fucking left. Did you not hear this fucking story, bro?
She
Give
got
her
raped.
some sympathy. Let her fucking give her a green card, bro.
Yeah.
Just give her a green card off the
Like,
screen.
That's-
Call me a retard, but I can't find this shit.
You're a fucking retard.
It's literally in the pantry. It's in a bowl, on one of the second to highest shelf. It should. Yeah. It's right in there, dude. You'll see it. It's not in a package. It's just they're
These are
individual.
bullshit sometimes.
But yeah, that's why there's so many things. I was watching the economic video, and I watched some stuff on immigration and how it actually affects the economy. And there was 3 common myths, and how they're stealing our jobs.
Which they're really not, because we're
Yeah,
not
they're
working
really
with
not.
them anyway.
They're really not. So
Maybe we can
statistics.
consider it now, but it's still the fact that
Yeah.
they're outworking you, bro. It's as
Yeah.
simple as that.
Well, they were showing through statistics and economics itself and all this evidence that when people they're stealing our jobs, it's not true. When they say that there's so much that they're bringing down the economy for
I was
whatever reason.
oblivious to that before.
it really is
myself.
I feel
a
like the
lot
only
of
way
it.
it would bring it down is because there's more population to divide the economy
workforce.
throughout. Yeah.
Yeah, there's more workforce.
Yeah.
But they've shown
But
they've
that
shown on a
creates more
chart.
jobs as well.
They've shown on a chart since the 1950s as population
As well
rose
as
in
they
the
take it, they
country.
create more.
The workforce has the workload that is needed has actually grown at approximately the same rate. So this recession is just a
that
little
just
date.
makes
I'm
period.
saying the actual currency has to get split up between more people now.
Yeah, I know what you mean. So there's
that could
more
be the only way of
workforce
coming,
than
yeah.
workload. I know what you mean. Yeah, but
Even the more people, that would just make the company bigger because you
But
can do more shit. You know what I
according
mean?
to the economic theory, though, when there's more people in the country, there's demand for more supplies. So they need more jobs. So it
Yeah,
actually
that's-
balances
yeah, that's what I'm
itself
saying.
out
Yeah, that's what I'm
eventually.
saying.
That's why they say, like, oh, when America loses his job to a foreigner and people complain about it, he ends up getting a different job because new jobs are created because they're moving into the country. I mean, how
Exactly.
if it was true that immigrants screwed the economy like that and the economy didn't grow along with them,
Then we would have been
coming
broke
in?
a long time ago.
Yeah.
We're all fucking immigrants.
yeah, we're all immigrants.
Where's
Look at you with that Snickers. Did you find them?
No.
You're crazy. You are blind. There's like
Yep.
3 of them. Oh my god.
I got 4 of these, so.
Oh my god.
Damn.
Who cares, dude? We have like another 50.
I know.
Mm.
But crazy. We're talking about some cool stuff.
Well,
We're talking about the woman that was like raped with a AK-47. We're talking about I was talking economics when I was watching that video. Really interesting. They're talking about 3 common myths about immigrants, illegal immigrants.
Hey, you only went through 2 of them.
hmm
Yeah, what I can't remember the third one, but one was they say they're stealing our jobs, and they show through evidence and charts and like all this statistics that it's not true. They were showing that when they say like it ruins the economy, and Thorne even said he's like, yeah, well, he's like I can see how it could hurt the economy. While you see something Facebook, he was saying,
Put it up like it was nothing.
but he said like he made a good argument. He's like I could see that immigrants that come into the country, there's more workforce for the workload, so it has to disperse the workload among more people, let more unemployment. But then I said, but just as the economy has grown with the country, as immigrants have moved in all these years we've existed as America, like as they come in, when there's more people in this country, there's more demand for food, there's more demand for anything, which means they have to create more jobs in order to meet that demand. So it always balances out. They showed a statistic from like the 1950s, how the workforce.
Honestly, that's why I feel
has
we're
increased.
in a recession.
Yeah.
Because we haven't been creating more jobs.
Yeah.
Because people are fucking more
Yeah.
stupid. Nobody wants to grow.
Yeah, what
Nobody
happened?
wants
Yeah,
to create
they said
shit. We
that.
want to be fucking wrestlers or some athlete or a rapper.
Yeah, the workload has
You
been
ain't
increasing at the
fucking shit doing
same
that.
rate as the workforce, but now it's such a tiny dip too when you look at it in the chart. But the reason why is because we deployed a lot of our jobs. We're not really creating jobs and we're gaining population. You can't do that. And that's the problem is,
All right, good.
I mean, it's good for other countries, but it stalls our progress here and it lowers our standard of living. Oh, what I was going to say before, and we got way off track, about how everything is coming, like you said, there's going to be another huge recession, most likely and stuff.
I believe this shit was planned. Straight
I
up.
say I could honestly picture this, because
'Cause
well,
we
like I was
boost
saying,
for market in the future.
countries can't be conquered. This both ties in. Countries can't be conquered anymore at this day and age, and
Yeah.
we might hit another recession. This
Nuclear
ties in
warfare
because,
won't allow that.
because one, we hit another recession, global economy is going to hit the toilet. There's going to be a whole revamping of the currency.
I think they should
They're
make
probably-
a new currency with like a fiat
They're
value.
probably-
Straight up
Just make
worldwide
things
currency.
Real.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're probably
Make things good for everyone.
they're probably going to try and create
I
a
don't
world
understand why
currency.
we didn't start that.
But-
A
honestly.
little
That
off
makes no
topic,
sense
but you
to
know
me.
they're making currency for space too. They're making a space currency.
What the fuck?
So why would they be making that?
Because they
Why are
There's
they
no
showing
ATMs
us
in
all
space,
these
that's the
shows
reason.
that
Alright,
they show us now?
You guys have to let me finish this
Yeah,
thought
I know,
because
bro.
I just thought of something else I read in the book, the biology book. One, countries can't be taken over. Why? Like, think about this. If we were about to be completely, like, say we had multiple years of war, like China, right? Or Russia, and we're about to be taken over,
a
the
nuke
United States
going on.
government is just going to launch nukes like a
Yeah.
motherfucker
Fuck
at every
you.
country for no reason. They're
Just
just going to
because we
blow up the
can.
world before we go down.
Mhm.
Like any other country would. So now, the world isn't going to change. It's either going to be destroyed, it's going to stay the same, or it's going to lead to a union. New world order, new currency.
Yeah, we have to realign.
There's going to be a
Yeah,
complete
shit's
union
not
of
right.
the entire every subcontinent. Everything's going to eventually have to join together for us to even progress into a space age. And that's my thought on that. Second, I read about this moon that's off of Jupiter, and it's called Europa. It's called Europa.
I've heard of it.
Oh, I heard that
Yeah.
several times.
It's called Europa. Yeah, it's named after how they used to in the Middle
Well,
Ages.
Italians are
They called Europe Europa back in the day in the Middle Ages and stuff. But Europa is that
Isn't that like the
it's a
biggest
moon.
one?
I don't know, but it's a moon, and they said from what they've seen of pictures of it, they see like almost like these like weird veins like all over the planet. And they said it looks like there's fluid under it. And he said, and they want to explore it because if they go down on it and they look at it, they think that there might be like an ocean under the surface, and if
Mhm.
so, it's the
Yeah.
only other body
Same thing
in the
with
solar
Titan.
system with water, and that would be enough. They said that that could be a planet or like a moon that they could possibly inhabit if they have built like an artificial like environment on
Yeah.
it. Imagine that, because that's probably why they're planning.
I
on
believe
making
that's all our
space
our
plane.
system is a perfected petri dish. Honestly.
Yeah, we're developing into. You were telling us. Remember we were talking about the tiers,
I don't know. There's so many
tier
things
1,
off
tier
my
2,
head,
tier
bro.
3
Yeah.
of civilizations. We're tier 0. We're not even tier 1 yet.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And I started telling you about
Oh yeah, you was telling me about that too. Like
what was I telling you about? The thing it was like off of Halo, but it was like incredibly intelligent. It was like 7 tiers, I think it was,
Oh yeah.
about how to measure like
Proteins
the
and
tech
then-
the technological advancements of a civilization. And in the game Halo, at that point in time, they said out of 7, we were like a tier 5, and the Covenant were like a tier
Oh yeah.
like 3 or something like that. We were like a 4 or 5. I think we were a 5. The Covenant were like a tier 2 or 3. The Forerunners were supposed to be a tier 1. They had the ability to create artificial worlds, create sentient life, but there's a tier 0. And it was like in the game, it's supposed to be that there was some form of species, some form of like sentient life before the Forerunners that were even more advanced that could possibly even create matter and like
Mm.
create space itself and all this crazy stuff. But I mean that's a video game, but it does
Imagine what
represent.
kind of power that puts you in. What kind of responsibility? With great power comes great
That's why-
responsibility. Period.
You know what?
You
If
know?
if our civilization,
I think that would force people to grow up.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what it needs.
I think it would be so corrupting too. But I think
Oh,
a
sure.
great form of civilization that would
Especially
be.
when black holes become pocket-sized. You can just fucking get one out of your pocket by doing something.
You know what? Fuck
Something in
you.
your pocket, you know?
Fuck 'em in.
You know what's a great model for a good society for us to develop into? And once again, it's based off the video game. The Forerunners. They took up this thing because I've read a bunch of the books. I've researched so much of it because it's so interesting. And it really is like, it's so closely aligned of like how we're leading. And one of the things is they took up this thing called the mantle, where they believed that they were the caregivers of life in the galaxy because they were so advanced and they had all these crazy ass weapons and they had the ability to destroy whatever they want, make whatever they want. And they came to a realization because they had more mental capacity than a human being, according to the game, that they realized, you know something, we're the caregivers. We should be taking care of life. And they made a part of the mantle was they got rid of basically almost all of their weapons and everything, and they used their technology to like index the life and make sure everything stayed healthy and safe. And that's what happened. And then obviously the flight came from a different galaxy, and it went to turmoil, and then they had to have to kill everything, all sentient life. But that's the thing is, if we're ever going to evolve, that's something we would have to evolve into. That is a good representation of a civilization. Like you're technologically advanced and intelligent enough that you get to the point where you say, you know something, you can't be selfish, and you have to take care of everything else that isn't as fortunate. And you know,
That's really our problem in the world. Straight up.
People,
we
I
don't
think
give a
that
fuck what
people
happens
in
in the
general
future.
are in like a moody ass faggot bitch teenage like.
I
Right.
can't remember if Joe Rogan said it or if it was someone else who said,
Oh,
I believe the
species-wise?
human species is an adolescent form
Yeah.
of
Yeah, a lot
evolution.
of people say
We're just in
Yeah.
that weird state.
exactly.
We
Oh,
don't
no,
really
it
know
was,
where to go from here.
It was Joe Rogan. He was talking about how the form of human takes it's in like a pattern, and we're in the era right now where we're all
Kali
shitty.
Yuga and stuff.
Mhm.
Talk about the thing from India.
Mhm.
Yep.
And we're all in a era
What
of
was that
time
called?
where we
I
all
think it's called
complain.
Kali Yuga.
I think it is too, because that sounds so familiar.
Yeah. We're in the
That sounds
adolescent
so
stage of
familiar.
our evolution.
Mhm.
Like we got to the point, like before we were so much brutal. Now we're getting to the point where we're becoming more civilized.
Just think about
But
it, even over the
we're
time.
civilized in like a physical manner. We're not civilized in a mental manner. We're still
Yeah,
terribly
we're still
premature.
completely. We fucking only use
We're
like
rich
8% of our
kids.
brain.
And I think that,
We're rich kids.
and I think it's a great representation of our adolescent stages. Back in the Middle Ages, when everybody was like, "Oh, the church is right," and you kill people and you raid and pillage and you rape like villages you take over. That's the way the government and everyone thought, and that's the way the people thought. Now the government and these people, especially in the generation below us,
in 300 years, how
Yeah.
people are going to think.
people in my mom's generation, people in generations before that,
I can't
they
even fathom.
think the way they do, they want to stick to their traditions. And a good representation of our adolescent stage is people like us, because we're thinking completely different from them.
We are.
We're challenging everything they do.
Yeah.
We're having a revolution of ideas,
Mhm.
and that's what we're developing in the adolescent stage. That's what I think. So
That was good.
yeah,
Indeed.
I think that's like the best representation. That it really does. That's like good evidence that we're in a stage of evolution.
Absolutely.
That we're changing in our mental capacity, the way we think.
And we're honored to be. I'm honored to be a fucking part of it.
You know, yeah.
I'll go
If
ahead.
anything,
I'll go
if I had to be a part of any form of the evolution of a human being, it'd have to be now, because this is a great turning point.
Mhm.
We're
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
start turning from
This is the
This is
industrial
this
revolution.
is the if we continue or we fail.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
like this is the part where we pass the physical evolution. I mean, we may evolve at a physical point later down the time, who knows? But we've passed the point where we're not going to go out raping and pillaging people and conquering people, but we're
I
not
believe we will
mentally.
if we don't mentally
Unless
get
society
more
is
stable.
But we're not mentally
Because
evolved.
mentally, we're still fucking apes.
We're not mentally evolved. And you
we
know
all
something?
care about what the fuck everybody else
And
thinks about.
also, in my opinion, you know something. Even if civilization, governments, countries collapse at this point, it wouldn't even. I mean, you could make the argument that the human race is going to devolve back to what it was. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
maybe through these GMOs
But-
and all this shit in the food and all the things
but-
that affect your brain.
But at the same,
maybe that way.
but at the same time, I think even though you technically devolve, I think it's for a short period of time, and it's actually the stage
I
of
don't know,
evolution.
because they're
I
fucking
think-
up genetics.
Well,
Nothing lasts forever.
Well, what I'm saying is, if everything collapsed, right, and we went back to like a dark age kind of thing, obviously we still have technology, but we're back to like that dark age's chaos, anarchy. I think even though people would say, "Oh, we devolved back from what we were," I think it's like a it's like a
like a relapse type shit.
it's not well, like I think it's more of like, in my opinion, this is my opinion, I think that it would be more, it's on the path to evolution where we devolve.
You have to, you have
temporarily.
to learn from your mistakes.
I think we devolve temporarily. I think what would happen if things did collapse, which if they do, I think what's going to end up happening is everything's
Yeah.
going to go, if everything gets
I don't
chaotic,
want it to.
things, I think things
There's
are,
so much more I want to learn. and
Honestly,
think about
There's so
and
much
discover.
more we could do.
well, think about
Straight
it.
up, just
Look
oil
at-
as itself
look at
is a
history.
problem.
Look
we
at
can
history.
Fix that.
We started in a prehistoric era, right? We started developing technology, rocks, copper, bronze, and then we got up to a point where people started to become more sophisticated the Roman times, right? Everything fell,
Mhm.
went to dark ages, went up through the Middle Ages, we
Oh.
started evolving more and more and more.
It's funny because
Right?
we base all
Right?
of our
Yeah.
like
Then
things
we-
we have off great
Yeah.
fucking
Maybe we're
civilizations.
evolved at this
And they
point,
all
we won't
crashed
evolve
at
again.
one
Maybe
point.
Well,
we can
then
somehow
we
save
crashed.
ourselves.
Then we crashed. Then
This
we
is why
started
we
to
need
develop-
the world union.
we started to develop a new, we devolved temporarily again. Now we're coming back. We came through the Industrial Revolution.
Straight
We're up
up.
until this point, and now we're at the stage again. It happens like every 400 to 1,000 years.
Mhm.
This has happened. Now we're at a point.
And then technology
The past,
goes with it too.
the
It
past,
boosts too.
the past like dark age was like 400 years ago. So if you really think about it, even if we temporarily devolved, everything went to anarchy, everything collapsed. I think, in my opinion,
It
it'd be
makes
on
up
the
for it.
it'd be on the
Absolutely.
path to evolution. Because I think after that, we would finally realize, because of people that think like the way we do, like there's a revolution of ideas. I think it would eventually go to the point
What
where
if it'll just be another massive one, like when the pyramids were made by the ancient ass civilizations? Like,
And
well,
we
it's
get,
supposed
I
to be
really
tens
feel
of
like we're
thousands of
due
years
to
old,
learn a
and things
crazy
like-
amount
No,
of
I don't
shit
think
really
we've got
What if
to
fast.
that point.
what if we're gonna do another massive?
we haven't gotten to that point. I don't think. I think what's going to happen is we're going to devolve temporarily. We're going to hit an anarchy point. It's going to be a crazy form of revolution of ideas. And I think what's going to happen is we're going to actually, I think that temporary devolvement of our species is going to help us evolve
I almost feel
even.
like human nature
I
is
think-
just gonna prevail.
I think that's going to be the stepping stone to our evolution on a mental capacity. We're going to realize, you know something, we need to change the way we are, and I think that's what's going to lead us to that next. I think we're
How
going
do
to hit
these
the tier
people,
one.
how do these fucking drones not
Well,
see
to
this?
be
That we
honest
got to
with
do
you,
that regardless.
I think that the corruption and all the money laundering and all this bullshit monetary system, I think it had to get this bad for us to learn from it.
Yes, and you know something that I think.
You can't learn from a mistake you never made.
Think about how, on a global scale, right? If you were looking at the Earth as an extraterrestrial, and you saw these people with all their greed and shit, just laundering money for their own personal benefit, and there's people like suffering, you'd be like, wow, that's so petty.
so-
I think
how
I really
petty
think that is
evolved.
myself. I don't
Yeah.
give a fuck. If I had
Yeah.
$1 billion, if I was
Right.
a billionaire, I would give $1 million
how-
a fucking year to a fucking charity or something. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm sure I would do things like that too, but do you have any idea how well I would tip?
Yes.
Can you even comprehend how well I would tip?
bitch
I
would
would
come back
make
to work
this
for a
bitch
month.
year. like for real, I'd like go to like a diner as like a billionaire. Or
Straight
some
up,
shit, and
if
tip
I was
them with,
rich
like,
as fuck,
10
I would
grand,
not be
20
egotistic.
grand. Tip like
Well, I would
50
be to an
grand. Imagine
extent.
some bullshit. I'm in a good mood today.
I'd
Tip
be
like
I'd be
50
a good
grand.
ass dude if I
That's
was
some
rich, but I
bullshit.
would be egotistical, like to an extent. Like if somebody was
punch
a
you.
dick, and no, if somebody was a dick to me, oh, I'm gonna let you know I got fucking power, motherfucker. Like I won't
monkey
exert
like.
that until you
Mhm.
make me.
That's monkey-like.
I think that's evolved. That's how it's evolved now.
No,
That's
because I'll
monkey-like.
We have to
I'll
evolve.
hey, it is what it is.
We have to evolve
No,
past
you
that
gotta
point.
evolve past that.
Hey,
I'm not gonna let people
smooth that out.
like if
you don't
I'm
have to
rich.
be like, oh, I'm dominant, I'm better.
No, that's not what I'm saying. It's,
That is
if
what
they
you said.
if they try to like disrespect me in some sort
You're
of
gonna
way.
say, oh, I'm rich, I'm better than you.
here, you know what
That's
I think it
seems
is?
like you're
Yeah.
saying.
Like I
Well,
said,
no, I'll insult
Exactly.
I'll
You just
insult
said,
them
yeah,
with one of
so there
those.
you go.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna say
Hey,
that.
this is-
I'll fucking
this is
insult them with a gift or some shit. You know what I
But
mean?
you
Like
believe that,
fuck
though.
you.
well, this is what I think. I think if we
what the
ever
hell's wrong with you?
listen, I think if we have to evolve past what he was saying, I think a better way to word it, which you'll probably agree with, is if somebody acts aggressively towards you, you're going to retaliate with aggression.
Yeah.
And I think what
And
we
you're
have to
gonna
do.
try to rub in that you
I
got
think-
fucking money.
I
and
think-
say you're better than them.
I
No,
think,
not specifically money, just in general that I'm a better person than them. Like I'll show them statistics of all the charities I've funded and just mad shit. Like that's what I'm saying. I'll punch him in his face
Well,
with
I think that like
fuck you, pretty much.
I think the thing is too is with like for us to evolve past that like
I wouldn't get
primate.
monkey,
It's like a
but-
primate. It's like a primal. It's like a primate form of like.
That's what I'm saying. We
We're-
still have a
it's like-
monkey's
wait,
brain.
It's like we are evolving into the technology too, because we're gonna have
Dude,
like,
everything
chips in
just
our
kinda
brains
short
and
out with
shit
it.
that
I
we can
just
download
went-
data. I bet that's 50 years away, if that.
I
Where we can get implants and download information.
You know they completely close the human brain or something like that. Or something like that. What was it? Human DNA or some shit like that. It was like they can. I'm not sure if it's your DNA or something, but they can physically like make a person.
you know
like
it's
from the inside out. And obviously not
Yeah.
body-wise,
Like
but they
that
can.
for
Yeah.
many decades.
Oh,
Yeah.
for real?
you know the concept
Test
of
tube babies and shit, yeah.
you know the concept
No,
of
not like that. I
you know the
mean,
concept of yin and yang.
mentality-wise, like a brain, just a brain, straight up brain.
You know the concept of yin and yang, how things have to balance each other.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think also the thing with evolving, as a human species, you're like, oh, 50 years, we could have microchips to download data, and you're like, oh yeah, we can have this, and cloak and brains, and be invisible, and fly, and piss out Coca-Cola. Doesn't even matter. Even if we have all these technological advancements, we're gonna fail if we don't evolve our mental capacity. Because you could be as advanced as you want, but as long as you're ignorant and
That's
still,
yeah, that's
and as
so
long
power
as
hungry.
as you have that form of retaliation with aggression, like if somebody insults me, I'm gonna be like, dude, why do you have to be insultive? Like, why do you have to be aggressive like that? Why can't we just get along? Like, what's so different about you and I? That's how I
the will to
retaliate to
prove
things
you're
like that.
better. I would just want to prove I'm
I
better
don't-
Make
than
them
that
feel
guy.
stupid.
I don't even.
That's what I would do.
I don't
That's
even.
what I'm saying.
And not even make him feel stupid. I wouldn't even wanna.
But even still, you're right.
I
you
wouldn't
shouldn't
even
wanna
want to
do that.
feel. I wouldn't even want to make him feel stupid. And
It's
it
like-
may
Oh,
sound
I
wrong.
would.
I wanted to learn from
well,
him.
That's what I was trying to say. Like,
Well,
fuck you.
I
No, but
don't
why
know
would
this
you
shit.
said that I'm better than you because I have money. That sounds fucking
Well,
retarded.
that's the way you said it. And that's you wouldn't get off that subject, so I just agreed with it. You kept insisting that that's what I meant while I was trying to word it differently. So I'm just like, yeah.
this is what I think. I think we even have to evolve past that to make them feel stupid. Because in a sense, even though it may be wrong to pity people for like how
That
how they are,
their mistakes in the
takes a
future.
different creature than
Yeah.
human beings, though. That's
How-
like a totally spiritual creature.
how they think in a
Like a
mental way.
total like guru mushroom.
Yeah, that's what makes us human. Is that it's
Like a total hippies. That's like a
Yeah, the
total
retaliation of like making somebody feel stupid, like in a way,
knowing
I
you're
think
doing
once
something
we
good
reach,
and somebody
if we
telling
can
you not
reach
doing
the
something
point-
good would make you want
if
to,
we-
you know.
That's
I
like-
know. I'm saying at a point we have to evolve to the point where instead of retaliation or making them feel stupid, we have to get to the point where we want to enlighten them and make them a better person or help them become a better person.
I always,
Well, yeah, to a
always
degree,
thought- I
to
always
make them feel
thought-
stupid, it's kind of that way, but you just don't do it with that mindset. You know what I mean?
Yeah, don't
It's like, listen, sir, I just want to let you know, like, I do all this stuff. I do my, you know what I mean?
like the concept of making somebody feel dumb is like, and doing it
It's all ego
purposely
based.
and intently making them feel stupid, doing it to make them
But
feel
it's
bad.
belittling them.
To make them feel bad. I think it's different than when you enlighten them to the point where they realize they're
It's
ignorant.
hard to enlighten someone that's ignorant.
When they realize they're
You've got to
ignorant.
get
Straight
them
up,
to the straight
you know,
level.
Mr. Nixon, the Chinese dude.
Yeah.
He made me feel so little one day.
Really?
Because
Why?
I was just mad and just an idiot, and he made me realize I was just being an idiot, pretty much. You know what I mean? I was in class or something. I forget what happened. I came into class late, so I was already a little mad because he's a cool dude, but he was like keeping me at the door, like putting his finger on the door, like, where's your pass? Where's your pass? I'm like, I don't have a pass. So I come into class, I'm mad. He's like, oh, well, you're gonna need a pass. Talking to me. I'm like, I come late every day. Like, I'm just being an ignorant prick, pretty much. Come late every day. You know, like, get over it. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I tell you, like, you tell me I'm sorry every day, and that it made me blow up. Because like, what the fuck else you want me to do about all this shit? And he was like, you need to calm down in my classroom. I'm like, yo, I'm the bully. I'm saying all this shit. I'm gonna do what I want. Blah blah. All this, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna let you know how I feel. Whatever. And he's like, you getting louder. It isn't making this argument any more right.
Oh yeah, I do things like that too.
All this
time.
shit.
I do that to my mom.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. She yells, and I said,
like,
being louder than me doesn't make you right.
Like literally, I'll be like, I'll really try
and
to be like,
at the end of the class, in front of everybody, in front of everybody, because I needed it. I'm like, yo, Mr. Nichols, I want to tell you, I'm sorry. I still talk to him to this day. I email him all the time to let him know how I'm doing and shit.
I think when it comes to the point where somebody has to try and use like aggression and noise and like body language to try to intimidate,
he really would love
to try to
he would love to
people.
be into this.
Dude, I love Starbucks. We just need to make a fucking organization.
He used to get high, and he told me about the story how him and his boy. Well, he said they were drunk, but there's no way they weren't fucking high. Who gets drunk and fucking does peanut butter sticks? Alright, so anyways, he's fucking clearly high. And he's like, oh, well, let's see who can eat the most peanut butter. Oh, no. It was, cinnamon.
Oh, my God.
Oh, you can't do that.
Yeah,
oh my
let's see who
God.
can eat the most cinnamon. And
physically impossible.
They were coughing it up for like hours.
Oh, God.
Hey, you want to know what crazy thing to try and do?
It
I dare you to try and do this one day.
just swells up your throat.
But I dare you to try to do this one day. Have a saltine race. See who can eat a sleeve of saltines the fastest.
You drive fuck
It's so difficult.
I can do the.
You get like halfway, you're like.
I can eat 2 pieces of bread in under a minute. A lot of people say you can't do that. I can do that.
Well, you can, but it's super hard.
Yeah,
Depends how like hydrated you. If you don't have a drink, you just can't. Like it's so like you get to like the end, you're just like.
Because it absorbs all your saliva. That's all breaking down your food. So, yep.
But back to the evolution.
Yeah,
I really do just want to like start an organization of intelligent
really
people.
Just to sit and talk and just discuss. And the
I'm
more,
gonna
even if
invite
you
Joe
just
Rogan
sit there and
to it.
listen, you're learning. And then you're going to have theories to put in on your own.
You know what?
For real, I'll even go Joe Rogan like start a Cali chapter of this shit.
I don't even really think it has to be like professors and stuff. I think it just needs to be people that are open-minded.
Even theories.
I don't care
if somebody can get our theory and then really break it down and then make it true instead of a theory, you know what I mean, and prove it right instead of it whatever we're talking about that could be a theory. We can't get as in, you know what I'm saying, in depth as these other people can because they're fucking first off more knowledgeable. They have the technology to do it, you know what I mean, and yet we're just here sitting talking about it.
I was just checking what time it was. I was wondering.
What time is it?
It's 9:30. I don't care. I was just curious. But
I don't know if that's not good thing.
but yeah, like that's.
I took a serious face on purpose and looked at all you just talked about.
I really do think that though. Like I think that if we just keep evolving our technology and not our mindset, I think we're gonna hit.
We're gonna end up nuking each other straight up.
I think we're evolving towards becoming one.
I think we're gonna hit dark age. If we keep evolving our technology, it's not gonna matter how.
Honestly, I feel that's how we've been for the past like 90 years.
As long as we stay ignorant,
mentally,
especially even if we get technology, I think the more technologically advanced we have, the more power we have, and as long as we stay ignorant,
the weaker we're gonna get mentally. I feel.
I think as long as we stay ignorant, and as long as we stay at this mental capacity, as we get more technology, we're gonna have more power, and we're just gonna abuse it. I think we're gonna hit another dark age, and we're gonna re-evolve. We're going to evolve into the new age of ideas, and people are going to recreate civilization into a better model.
As soon as we have all the technology, the government won't want us to have it, so they'll dumb us down.
That's why I want to get involved in politics and economics soon. That's why I want to learn all that stuff.
I don't know how we could ever beat them, though, without help. Like, literally, there's no way that we could do it.
Well, Ryan,
Even the four of
I'd
us
call
didn't
you
do a
Brian.
fucking damn
You
thing.
did.
Well, anyway, Toast.
What a special moment.
I don't know. But Toast, like, here's the thing. Like,
I know.
I
don't
think we
call
could.
Brian.
You can beat them, but it's gonna hit a dark age if it ever gets to that point. If it really gets to a revolution of like physical violence.
They have the
I
technology
think
right
it's
now
gonna
that
get-
they could just wrap us all up.
I
They could make
think
the environment impossible for us to survive in.
You gotta remember though, everybody has family. I mean, the guys that are in power, what are they gonna do?
everybody has somebody they love.